Greetings! Welcome back to another episode of Kerbal Space Program. I'm post-commentary right now because I like to speed the video up, and you don't want me talking like I'm on helium. So, this is at 2 times speed. We are building a munbase, and of course me in the video that's running at real time is yabbering away like, I don't know the correct word to come to mind that wouldn't get me banned from Google. Insane person, that'll do. Yabbering away like an insane person, yes. So, we're building a munbase. The base is designed to be landed on the Mun. However, it can also be landed on munbase and any other planet. Design style. Well, I kind of like the film The Abyss and the submersible station. So I'm going for something similar to that. However, obviously it has to be a space station. So as you can see, I put a great big fuel tank on and a Mark II lander cannon, I think it is. Yeah, Mark II. Now, the game requires me to put a command module on it, so stuck that at the top. Now right now in the video I am sticking on some nuclear liquid rockets. Basically for landing on the Mun, which is why I've got a great big fuel tank there. And now we make them 4 times. Why 4 times? Because my attempt with the rover tank to land on the Mun, the first one just used those 2 outboard liquid rocket motors, and well, yes, they were powerful enough. It took a lot of fuel, but also any slight accidents, and you plummet into the surface. So, decided to up the efficiency. Consider this is going to be quite a big station and potentially heavy. Decided to go for 4 of these, then got the efficiency, etc, etc. Excuse me. Shoving RCS on at the moment. You'll see in a minute I will go quite abusive on the RCS. There'll be a lot of those RCS jets. Really could do with in the game having some heavy duty RCS. Might have to make that myself. But basically each module, as it consists right now, you've got the command module on the top, which is basically just for flying it. You've got the battery, great big battery for the dark side, fuel tank, and Mark 1 lander cam. 4 basically pods on the side. Try and keep it compact, so I wasn't using separators on it. Now I'm trying to put the fuselage pieces on instead of using docking ports to attach everything. Try to put the fuselage piece on sideways to build it outwards, and it would not attach properly at all. So then I looked at the radial attachment points, and they didn't seem to want to oh, there we go. Trying to get the radial attachment points on now. But I'm kind of not happy with them. And of course the fuselage sections seem to seem to like to embed themselves inside the object and won't attach onto the ends of each other, which basically means building a station like I want to is nigh on impossible in the game. At least I don't know how to do it. If somebody does, let me know. So I'm trying desperately, rotating it around, trying to get it onto that radial attachment point, and it just doesn't want to know. It just embeds itself into the fuel tank. And then of course another radial, fuselage section won't put itself onto the end of the one that's embedded. You've seen me try. As I said, this is sped up, so I mean, I tried it for a while. As you can see, I've already gone quite excess on the RCS as well. That was because when I landed the tank, when I landed the previous station, the RCS was wussy. So decided to go to excess on this one. So, with the structural fuselage basically out of the question, decided to go for this modular girder thing, which I actually got it to behave on. So wanted to go for 2, and then take the copy of the station and then stick it onto the side. So you just, well, in theory it should have just found those girders, and I would have thought it would have been intelligent enough to know that, well, I'm trying to dock it on, to build it on the side, but no, perhaps not. So, tried there with a fresh fuel tank, and it would only connect it to the middle of the tank. So those modular girders, or whatever they're called, I ended up having to build the second piece basically from scratch, as you can see. Luckily enough, some of the pieces I could just copy and paste. So now we've copied it 4 times. As you can see, the space station is taking shape, and of course you can see the what can I say? The general sort of design is a little bit like the station for that's on Abyss. So just sticking essentially all the other stuff. Just notice in the background that my flag actually shows up in the VAB, which I hadn't noticed before, or rather I wasn't paying attention to. So yes, I made my own flag. I took the generic white one, made a copy of it, and then just put... couldn't really think of anything to do, so I went with the classic "Com Warrior was here" with a smiley face. And why not? Because I was there. So why not leave a flag that says I was here? Simple enough. Anyone wants to know how to do that? It's just a simple PNG graphics file. Any manipulation program such as GIMP will read them, no problem. They're in the flags directory. Not quite sure what the directory structure is off the top of my head. I can't really look it up right now while I'm narrating. But yeah, just have a wander around the KSP directory. Try not to delete anything, or you will be reinstalling. Try not to change any names again, or you will be reinstalling. And just look for a directory called flags, and in there's probably about 15 flags, I think, by default. So all you do is make a copy of one of them, and then open it up in whatever editor you use for images. PaintShop Pro, if it's still about these days, CorelDRAW. GIMP is free, so obviously GIMP is always good if it's free. What are some of the others? Adobe. I'm sure there's loads more out there that I've never even come across. So at the moment we've put, we weren't originally going to put landing struts on, but I decided to put them on because when we landed the first munbase, it did break it a little bit when it came down. So I'd rather it break the landing struts than basically the station. So that was kind of unexpected, but oh well. Now just seating the nuclear rockets on separators. Yeah, I decided to put separators on so that in an emergency I can just dump them. It seemed logical. But you can definitely start to see that I went way overboard on RCS. But as I later find out, it wasn't that far overboard. Yes. There is a lot of footage of me trying to get this thing into orbit. The next video after this, which I have to also narrate, is made up of about 20 or 30 video clips, something like that, of me trying to build a launch stage for this and get it into orbit. And anyone that likes explosions is going to love that video. That's all I'm going to say. It's definitely a video for well, I'm sure plenty of people will start laughing at me and say, no, you should have known that wasn't going to work, you should have checked this, and I'm sure there'll be some interesting comments. So that's a top-down view. During this video I got really annoyed with the camera views because you couldn't slide left and right and up and down like you can in the aircraft hangar. You know, if you hold the third mouse button down and move the mouse, you actually slide left and right and stuff like that. Whereas the VAB seems to be centred around one point in the VAB, and you cannot move that point. So when you're building something big and you want to connect something on the outskirts, it gets really, really awkward. It drives me up the wall at times. Ah yes, now you're gonna ask, why the hell am I putting parachutes on? Well, as you later see, designed this station for the munbase, and then it occurred to me, well, we can probably drop it on a atmospheric planet and colonise it. So it's like, well, those rockets on such a planet with an atmosphere, those rockets probably don't quite have enough power to arrest the descent. So best thing to do, drop it in orbit, drop it out of orbit, let it come crashing through the atmosphere, and then deploy the parachutes to prevent it from hitting the ground really hard, and if necessary, use the rockets as well. So, we're going to chuck a load of parachutes on. And later on, we're going to refit the parachutes. Because we found they didn't work on Kerbal. Or, should I say, I found they didn't work on Kerbal. And if you're watching this video, you will find they don't work on Kerbal because of the weight. So, pretty much trying to make all the modules equal, as you can see. Obviously, command module is still on the first module, as annoying as that is, because you have to have it there. But what I also later found out is because you have that module there, you cannot copy the entire thing. So I had to select everything underneath the command module thing that's on top to copy that, which is kind of stupid and annoying. I think it's within the game it treats that as a special module for commanding the entire thing, and what it doesn't do is basically copy it and make the copy a slave module or an unprivileged module. So that kind of annoying that is. Oh, but also on the struts that I put between the cans, I shoved some RCS tanks on. I couldn't work out where to put them. Excuse me. Oh, late night. Yeah, didn't want to shove an extra module on and make it taller. Also wanted to keep the sort of main towers sort of clear of stuff sticking out around the centres where the parachutes are. Obviously putting solar panels on now, more stuff to go on later. So I thought, well, hang on, I've got these struts, we'll use them. I just shoved a ring on, reaction control ring. We're getting ready to save it and go for a test flight. I can't actually remember all these test flights because testing the munbase and trying to get it into orbit was like 3 or 4 days long, so I can't remember which one was which. That's going to break things. Yep, it did. So making a few modifications with the basically setting up an action group for the lander legs. And yes, I'm using the heavy duty lander legs due to the sheer weight of this thing. Oops. That's never good. Kinda has a general tendency to make a real mess of things. And yeah, back to the VAB. Oops, that's the wrong button, you muppet. Oh, that's going to cause some fun. At this point, I was a little bit aggravated trying to do this thing. Probably really should have put it down and went to bed, but really, I love building big things. So I'm trying to sort these lander cans out, get the legs in the right place. I rotated the lander cans around so that the hatches are actually pointing to the inside of the station, which I thought was actually a more neat idea rather than the previous munbase actually had all the hatches pointing outwards. So I thought it looked more like some of the colonies you see on like Star Trek and Battlestar Galactica, where they're sort of pointing in towards sort of themselves, make like a community. Duh. So this time we're going to stick the entire thing on launch support. There we go, no boom, no bang, no breaking parts, and what the... yeah, just noticed all the staging is like completely crap. And lo and behold, we just find out that those nuclear rockets don't have enough thrust in Kerbin's gravity to get anywhere or do anything. So a launch stage is required, and this is where we start having a ruckload of fun. So first of all, we're going to sort our own staging out so that we can save it and not have any accidents. So just want a little stage, basically to get it up to say 5 to 10,000, so we can test the parachutes and the landing system. Because there's no point in building a huge launch stage and then find out this thing won't land. That's kind of a bad thing. So stick a reasonable fuel tank on. Stick on the biggest engine that we've got, which is the mainsail, and double check the staging. Save, and we've still got crap on the launch pad. Oh well. That's probably because last time we clicked the wrong button and didn't notice. And there we go. And as you can see, as normal, we're doing everything in the dark. Why on my videos is everything done in the dark? Really? You just noticed that since we added those mainsail engines on, we did not change the staging, so I've just done that, and up she goes. Checking the fuel, and yes, it's actually using the fuel that we actually want to land with. Oh well. This is just a test anyway to test the landing capabilities of it and the parachutes and whatnot. Yeah, stay watching. You know full well there's going to be a calamity. Excuse me. Just having an issue now. It's getting thrown around. Activating the RCS to try and keep it straight, but as you can see it's getting thrown around quite a bit. Probably the vertical speed being a bit too high, I would say. Yeah, I got the advantage of being post-commentary here. But that being said, we are at 16,000 metres. 17,000 metres, and we are still going up. And what did you just do? Well, we just separated our landing rockets. We made it up to 21,000 meters. I was just about to say feet then. Do Kerbal measure things in feet, or is it all meters? They are metric Kerbals. Way! We like metric Kerbals. Now we've deployed the parachutes. Who can tell me what's going to happen next? Bear in mind, I'm not using time warp on the game. Right? And there you go. That's what happened next. The parachutes deployed fully, and the Mark II lander cans ripped themselves off. Nuts. Yeah, we all knew that was going to happen, didn't we? Yeah, one of the good things about post-commentary, you already know it's going to happen. So, what we have decided to do is to whack on a docking port at the bottom. The idea being that we can then jettison the engines and the spare fuel tank, and hopefully that won't rip the Mark II lander cans off. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Later on, don't worry, I'll change them. So now we're setting up action groups. Yeah, rather stupidly, what I was thinking of doing is activating 4th at first, letting them deploy and start slowing down, and then activate another 4 so that they immediately deploy and slow down even more, and then the last 4. Yeah, kinda works. Again, correcting the staging, because we forgot to do it the last time we were in the VAB. And of course we stick some clamps on the fuel tanks at the bottom, just to make sure it doesn't overstress the station before launch. And we go for another test flight. Again in the dark, as per usual. Oops. Oh. It's all going wrong right from the start. I knew I should have aborted. Now, one thing that I didn't notice at this point, probably because I was concentrating on what the hell was going on and why it was wiggling around all over the place, was because yeah. Oh well, it did it before I could actually tell you it was going to do it. The little things at the bottom with the rockets on, and oh dear, we actually completely imploded there at that point. Yeah, 2 of them as we're returning to turn over to get out of the way of the Kerbal Space Center, two of them decided to wobble, a bit like they just did there. And oh, what's causing this one? This is gonna hurt. How the hell I missed those buildings, I do not know. So I just activated the landing engines as well, because for some reason the mainsails now no longer have, and oh dear, it's not good. So let's try it again. Basically the remainder of this video is pretty much trial and error. The idea being launch it up reasonably high and then let it come down as if we were deploying it on a planet, and we just finished becoming a big fireball. Oh! And as you can see, something's just gone majorly wrong with the little launch stage. So decouple it, restabilise the station, drop the landing legs and the landing engines, and then we realise we made a complete and utter cock up. So I'm just reading there what failed first, trying to work out where the issues are. And hopefully this time I'm gonna fix it. Yeah, you know by the length of this video that this one won't fix it. There'll be another calamity. I'm just looking around to see what I can do, see what I can change. So we had girder sections between the those fuel tanks. Perhaps that will stop the issue of it ripping itself apart. So I'm going to test it again, and we're a lot more stable this time. I'm still drawing fuel from the wrong one, and then we noticed we've got an issue. One of the fuels is running very, very low, very, very quickly. Do we have a fuel leak? Nope. But we all know what was going to happen. So, got to be quick. Got less than 2,000 meters. So, drop the remaining rockets. Drop the landing engines. Deploy the parachutes. Miss the VAB. And what's going to happen? Oh yeah, bit too quick that one was. And what happened to the landing struts? So we know one of the engines had a violent shake and broke itself. So now we're going to use some struts. As you'll see probably in the next video, you will see us strutting our stuff to the nth degree. But that's a spoiler. I never said that. So as you can see, not only am I strutting it across, but I'm also doing all the diagonals as well, which takes some time, and yeah, it kind of looks a bit of a mess. But you know what? We don't care as long as it works. Looks are irrelevant. We care about function. We want to get it up, we want to get it over, and we want to get it down. Nothing else matters. It can look like a rat's nest to its heart's degree, but as long as it works. So getting ready to launch, and well, the initial launch looked good. And it's going up. Oh, something went wrong. Oh dear, and I've just killed a Kerbal. Oops. Now the question is, does this float back down and does it survive? I'm thinking not. Well, kind of survived, but not in one piece. Need to fix that. Looking at parachutes, comparing them. Is that a drogue chute I'm putting on? That might help. Just waiting for it to behave. I think I need to go faster than 2 times in future. So, sticking more parachutes on, sorting them out into groups. Oh, no, that's the wrong thing to select. Thank God for the undo. Going up. And that'll be the end of the video, due to a crash most likely. So, I'm CW, and we crashed plenty this time.